Hey there everyone, Photo Reviews here. And you might be wondering, is this another minor TBR review? No, it's not. I was just too lazy to really set up all the lighting and recording equipment for this video, and I just wanted to do something quick. So this will just be a small, simple video. So this month, this is sort of a last-minute decision that I wanted to do that didn't bring up in my DBR video as I normally do. But as I was sitting there at my computer typing up my latest review, I realized I hadn't quite gotten around to do more comic reviews like I wanted. I did a Ukrainian comic review at the start of the year, and my Batman X Fortnite comic sort of fell through during the month of April. So I thought I'd use today and do something special. Specifically, I wanted to recommend 5 webtoons that I've read online that are my favorites. Well, specifically 5 webtoons from the Webtoon app. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to make this a series or not. If I did, I might do it once every month at most, because I am subscribed to a lot of webtoons online, but I don't think I could do this once a week without running out of the things to talk about very fast. It's also going to be more of a recommendation list more than anything else. It's not really going to be any reviews of the comics that I suggest unless that's very much requested in the future. Now, some of these might be pretty popular, but some of them also might be obscure on the platform I'm currently talking about. For this video, though not necessarily for future ones, I'm going to be recommending off the Webtoon app. So these will be my 5 favorite webtoons from Webtoon. Number 5. Down to Earth by Pookie Senpai. And now I need my... Cade lives his average life alone and undisturbed, until a cute alien girl crashes into his backyard. By opening up his home, will this otherworldly girl inadvertently open up his heart? So, I really enjoy Down to Earth. It's a fun, adorable comic that nails several of the elements of romance that I enjoy. Cade and Zeta, I believe that's how you say her name, are both very interesting protagonists, and not only are the side characters fairly interesting, but there's a fair amount of intrigue behind all the characters' backstories. The art is beautiful, and I have to be honest, I really dig Cade's tattoos. I'm not going to spoil most of what's going on, and I will give one warning that the story does deal with the aftermath of an abusive relationship. Well, the story deals with the aftermath of several abusive relationships. But I think for the most part the subjects are handled fairly well, at least from my own limited experience on it. There are a couple things here and there I'm not too happy about, but otherwise it's a good romantic read and I definitely recommend it. I think that the characters are good for each other, and they do that thing where they actually, bond and communicate with each other. But yeah, moving on. Number 4. Operation True Love by K. Kokali or /Didum. I think that's how you say their name. I do not get mad at me if it's not. It's hard dating someone who won't give you the time of day. Suai Shim, I don't know why I said Shim, knows that better than anyone, having dated her indifferent boyfriend, Minu for years. She sometimes wishes that she could be more like her charismatic stepsister, Raim, who seems to have it all. But life takes a turn for the weird when Sue discovers Jelly Pop, a sentient flip phone in her locker. Jelly Pop has a lot to say about her love life, especially as Sue drifts further away from Minu and finds herself running into Minu's friend, Inyok. I really don't know how to say that. I'm going to apologize right now. Add to the mix a growing suspicion that Minu and Raim might be more than friends, and Sue might need a miracle to navigate the ups and downs of a high school romance. Now, this comic is fashioned in the style of what I believe is supposed to be representative of the Korean manhwa style of comic. Again, I'm kind of guessing a lot on these pronunciations. I do apologize. And honestly, it's a really well-written comic. In fact, I want to go out on a limb and say if this story commits to it, as I'm not entirely sure it's a true one yet, it might have even one of the best showcasings of how to do a love triangle. But overall, the characters are really well done in this book. You really feel for Sue. Again, I'm very sorry. Especially as she struggles with her boyfriend Minu and the main push of the story. The art is amazing, and the story really keeps my attention. Even Sua's more frustrating moments, when a character acts a certain way and you just want to reach into the book and violently shake them while screaming at them to get their shit together, are still completely understandable why she acts that way. Honestly, the comic reminds me a lot of this Korean drama I was forced to watch by a roommate once called Love Alarm. At least I think that's what it was called. It takes like the best elements from that, from what I can remember that is, and weaves it into its own unique story. I honestly love it, and if you are a fan of Love Alarm, I can definitely recommend this book. Number 3. Critter Tongue by Dinosaur Sheriff. In a world where every dungeon holds untold treasures, the voices in the woods tempt the bold, and foolish with tales of lost gods and eldritch magic, there is a place where the undead can unwind, a beholder can stop looking over her shoulder, and a goblin and werewolf can get real drunk together. Unfortunately, humans have a way of stumbling in and wrecking a perfectly good time with their adventuring and politics, and I'm just gonna say it, anthropocentric privilege. So Critter Tongue, unlike all the other books I mentioned here, is not necessarily a romance, but also one of the few that doesn't have an overarching story. The comic it has a more grungy art style, but it's a lot more stylized in a way that I love, and its main character is the right amount of sassy and fun that keeps you invested. It's not really expansive, as it only has 57 uploads at the time of my recording this, but it's only honestly well worth the read and is a pretty comedic tale at times, but deals with far more emotions than you might expect. This actually might be the least well known of the comics I'm going to talk about here. Number 2. The Cursed Princess Club. Meet Gwendolyn, living proof that princesses don't always have it all. See, although she lives in a castle and her father is the king, Gwendolyn isn't like a movie princess, or even a fairy tale princess. She's got a big heart, but isn't particularly attractive, and doesn't have a Disney quality singing voice. But one night she accidentally stumbles upon the twisted world of the Cursed Princess Club, and her life will never be the same. Hexed and cast out, the ladies of the club are just the people Gwendolyn needs to show her that just because she doesn't fit the mold doesn't mean she's any less of a princess. Now, the Cursed Princess Club is probably one of the more popular well, actually, it is. But the Cursed Princess Club is one of those ones I stumbled upon simply because Webtoon was doing one of its coin giveaways. Basically, read a certain amount of chapters from this story and earn 5 coins, back when 5 coins actually did something for you. I'm really glad that it did this because I don't think I would have tried this any other time. Cursed Princess Club is a very good story that has a lot of emotions, and every character in it I like to a degree. They're always more complicated than will be immediately apparent when you first meet them. Characters that you might hate to start, you find out why they are the way they are, and you might actually come to like them. Or characters that you like at the start, you might end up hating a lot more by the end of it. As I'm recording this, it's not quite finished. I believe we're waiting on the last episode to come out, but I'm very interested in seeing where this goes and seeing how it ends. It's been very good up to this far, but if I'm not wrong, 2 days after recording this, the final episode is going to be coming out, so fingers crossed and hope that it's great.
So that was a fucking lie.
And finally, my number 1 favorite Webtoon story on this platform is the Not So Sojo Love Story. Romance superfan Ray Chan is ready for her first boyfriend, and she knows just who it'll be. The most handsome boy in school, handsome O Chin Chin. But her plans for a perfect love story are derailed when the most popular girl in class declares herself a rival. For Ray's heart. This year, her not so sojo love story begins. Now, confession. When I first started this story, I didn't like it as much as I do now. I actually found that the author was trying a little hard on the comedic aspects with the number of strange faces and randomness that she would throw in. It just occurred to me right now that I haven't said the authors of the last two stories. So the Not So Sojo Love Story is written by Kuri Uku, and Cursed Princess Club is written by Lambcat. So I apologize for that, for interrupting the flow of this review for just that correction, but moving on. But as I went on, I found the story was a very, very good story of emotional vulnerability, of people coming to accept who they are, people learning to break out of a fantasy world, to accept the reality of the world around them. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, the humor grew on me a lot. I legit have laughed very hard at some of these scenes. I honestly, the reason this is my number one favorite is one of the few ones that I have gone back and just reread through the series for the sake of rereading through it. All the other ones I'll reread through a little bit if they've been on a long enough hiatus or not. But with this one is just one of those, I get upset that it's not updating next week, so I binge read everything that came before just because I want to read some of it. It's a very good story, and if you take any recommendations from this list that I just put out, it would be go check out this book. I really don't want to talk too much on it because I might provide spoilers. So, but with that being said, that's all I got to talk about when it comes to Webtoon. I know this was a random video off the wall, and it's not my typical style for this kind of stuff, but again, I didn't want to set up all the recording equipment. So, with that being said, I hope I introduced you guys to some interesting webtoons you're going to go check out here, or if not, and share our love for the same webtoon. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to be doing this as a common thing. I'll probably do it once a month if I do. Feel free to give me some ideas in the comics, like talk about my top 5 fantasy webtoons, or my top 5 sci-fi webtoons, or my top 5 they call it boy love on here, but my Yao or Yuri genre webtoons, and so on. Feel free to give me ideas of what to do for videos if you want to see them. I'm not really sure about doing a review on them, because a lot of these are creators who are smaller, and a good portion of them are doing it for free. But if you guys really want me to ever review a webtoon, I guess let me know. I can talk about it. I'll at least think about it, is what I'll promise. But with that being said, just remember, with every story comes an adventure, and every adventure is worth having, even the bad ones.